What's going on, guys? It's your boy DistantCoder, and today somehow, I can't tell you how it happened. It happened. I got second place at the Toronto Regional, 8-1, 296 players or something like that. Kind of crazy. I'm playing Melodious. Pen best deck, baby. I'm telling you. Shout out to Crypt. You stopped playing Pen, I didn't. Pen best deck. So I'm going to show you guys how I won this lovely deck box and this playmat with whatever the heck this is. It's pure. It's fantastic. It's amazing. Let's get into the deck profile. So I'm just going to put the starters in here first. Refrain, 1-card combo. Ostinato, 1-card combo. First movement solo, 1-card combo. Every single one of these cards gets you a 1-card combo. This gets you to your couplet. This gets you the Ostinato, which is just a full combo. And then the first movement solo lets you summon this, and then this is full combo. So these are the good cards that you want to be drawing. These are the 1-card combos. If you don't see them, you have to do some janky 2-card combos. Then after that, you're playing 3 copies of the couplet with the 1 concerto. This is the only target I play for this. The only reason I don't play 2 is because I don't play desires. I've decided to go for prosperity instead of desires for consistency, for the consistency cards, I should say. So just the 1 concerto. It puts itself back on the bottom of the deck. You're going to be drawing it. It's going to be fine. Couplet plus any Melodious or Concerto plus any 2 Melodious names is also full combo, because you get full combo the moment you get to Bacha. And I'll show you guys that card when we get to the extra deck. Then we're playing 3 copies of the Soprano. This is just a poly on legs. It fuses with your board. Combos really well with the Sonata because, like I said, if you make Bacha, you're full combo. So if you have Soprano Sonata, you go Soprano Special Sonata, make the Bacha with these 2, and once again, you're full comboing. Very, very good cards. I don't play the Cannon because I'm not playing the Baguska. I know that there's an interesting combo you can do with Baguska plus Bacha so that your cards can resolve under Baguska and stuff. I chose not to play because it feels very win-more to me. Then we play the 1 brick, which is the Shapina, and then the mandatory best card of the deck is Aria. Aria makes your entire board untargetable and can't be destroyed by battle, which is the primary piece of the board that makes it so that your board is resilient to a lot of the things that the decks in the meta are currently doing. The only downside to this is that this doesn't beat Mitsurugi, which I faced against a lot today, but there is a card on the side that replaces Aria that's really, really good against Mitsurugi, and unfortunately the Shapina, you have to play it despite the fact that it's kind of a brick, but you know, it's okay. That's the Melodious, like, core of the deck. Then we're going off to consistency cards. It's just the 1 Pot of Prosperity. Unfortunately, it is at 1. You can play 2-3 desires with 2 of the Concerto, the fusion spell, but I prefer to play the Pot of Prosperity just because, for consistency's sake, this doesn't let you lose important pieces of your deck, so I chose to play the 1 Prosperity. Then off to the hand traps. We get to play the best hand trap ever made, which is the Herald of Orange Light. Shoutouts to Beam Soldier. He let me borrow these when we were at YCS Orlando, and I never gave them back because we constantly forgot. So Herald of Orange Light lets you play through Fua, play through Perulia, play through Ashes, things like that. If they droll you, typically you don't care because the combo only searches twice, unless you already open the Concerto or already open the couplet. But this does let you negate the droll should you absolutely need to combo. So it's a very, very powerful hand trap, and going second into like Blue Eyes or something, you just hit their Sage or hit their Baby Blue, they lose the body, they get negated. It's just Gamma. Gamma's at 3 all of a sudden in our deck. Then we play 3 Fua and 2 Perulia. The reason why I chose to play these is just because the deck has some amount of consistency issues, and going second, you want to see Ostinato, you want to see first movement solo. There have been a couple of games today that I played where I just opened my hand and had unplayable, drew all hand traps, and just passed. Some of those I managed to win because I drew these, and these drew me not only into engine but also into hand traps. And a cool interaction with these is if you're drawing cards off this and you draw the couplet, couplet says when it's added to the hand, it summons a Melodious from hand or grave. This counts even if you draw it off the Molcharmies. You can do this on Master Duel with Max C, but with the Molcharmies and the TCG, you can do it as well. So sometimes you get to trigger the couplet to summon something out of your hand on turn 0, which is really, really cool. Then for hand traps, 3 Ash Blossom, just because our deck loses really hard to Fua, and then off for the rest of the hand traps. So we're also playing 3 copies of Droll because we need our opponents to stop playing, and we're playing 3 copies of Imperm, and I am not playing Purge, which is not typical for a light deck, but I decided to put Purge in the side, specifically because I didn't feel like it was that good against a lot of decks. I feel like the Ash is significantly better than the Purge is, just because this can stop the Molcharmies, whereas Purge can't really because they have to control a card on the board. So for that reason, I think that the Ashes are just better to be playing than the Purge. And then off to the last card in the main, obviously we're playing the card that beats all the hand traps, the 1 Called by the Grave. round 40 cards. It felt great, except for the couple of games where I bricked, which does happen. The issue with this deck is it's 9 one-card combos, whereas most other decks have 15, 18 even. So at that point, you know, they just have more ways to combo than we do. But it's okay. Sometimes you'll draw good, and very rarely will you draw bad. But when you draw bad, it feels extra bad. Then for the extra deck, I played 3 copies of the Boccia. You can get away with playing 2. The only reason why I played 3 is specifically because I feel like I get a little sloppy when I play sometimes, and you want to be able to summon 1 on your turn, 1 on the opponent's turn. When they out your Etoile, you summon this, and then on your turn again, you want to be able to summon a 3rd Boccia. So you can put it back in certain combos, which is why you can get away with playing 2. I like to just go for sheer card advantage in hand, so I will always be playing 3 of this card. Then we're playing 2 of the Schuberta. This is a part of your end board disruption. It's a DD Crow for 3 as a soft once per turn, which combos with the Etoile. The reason why these cards combo is because this is a once while face up on the field, like the Baron negate. So if you have the Schuberta on the board and you use the effect to DD Crow for 3, you then can use the Etoile, banish this until end phase, and when it comes back, the effect is turned back on. So because these 2 cards kind of interact very well together, you can use this to bounce by banishing this. This comes back, it's back online, you can DD Crow again, which is really, really good for like whittling down the graveyard resources of whatever decks your opponent might be on. There's a couple of, you know, Mitsurugi, they want to have a bunch of guys in the grave and stuff like that they constantly want to bring back. You constantly want to be Schuberting it constantly, so that they run out of resources in the grave, which is why I'm playing 2 of this and 2 of this. With Prospe, typically I will banish 1 of these. You don't need 2. You only ever need 2 if you're on like a big grind game. You could get away with playing 1. I really like playing 2. Then for the links, we have the Melodious link. I'm only playing 1 of this because this one actually very rarely comes up beyond turn 1. And when you're going first specifically. So what this one does is you can discard and summon 2 Melodious monsters with different different levels, so the zones that it points to. And the other effect can come up sometimes if a Melodious it points to attacks your opponent can't respond with any card effects until the end of the damage step. So it can be, you know, reasonable where you can summon this with the Etoile, swing with the Etoile, so this prevents them from activating anything, and then you go Etoile to banish their board and they can't respond. Well, bounce their board, I should say. Banish your board, bounce theirs, and they can't respond to it, which is pretty powerful. Then for the more generic stuff, we're playing the Gravity Controller specifically to stop, to beat getting Impermed or Veilered on the Boccia. So you always summon the Boccia to the EMZ, and then if they Imperm it or Veiler it and you have no way to extend, you can go into the Gravity Controller and do a suboptimal combo that just gets you to the Etoile, but it's better than nothing, and that's provided you have no extension beyond just summoning the Boccia. Then we're playing the Moon, which beats Skill Drain because it tributes itself to pop a card. So basically the same way the Access Code can like banish itself, this tributes any fairy to pop a card, but it can tribute itself to beat Skill Drain, which is really good. Then we're playing 1 Herald of the Mirage Lights. I didn't summon it at all today, but this is a way to beat Malice when going first, because Malice has a lot of very powerful spells and trap cards, and this is probably the best tool to beat them, specifically because your Schuberta just doesn't do anything. Banishing their grave is very irrelevant against Malice, so instead you make a different line and go for the Mirage Lights. Then after that, playing the Lizardos. In this deck, the purpose of the Lizardos is to clear your board. If you get nibbed, or if you have non-Melodious monsters, you can't activate the effect of the Couplet. Couplet can only be activated if you control no non-Melodiouses. So if you control an empty board or only Melodious, you can activate the Couplet to add the fusion spell. So if you get like nibbed, sometimes a nib token is a little awkward. So you can make Lizardos banish itself, target their nib, draw a card, and then if you have the Couplet, or if you draw into the Ostinato, you can activate the Ostinato because you won't control any monsters anymore. The Ostinato has no locks whatsoever, apart from the fact that you have to control no monsters to use it. So with the Lizardos, you can do some really, really interesting stuff. I summoned it a couple of times today. Then we're playing, obviously, SP, just because it's good. It's a broken card. And then we're playing Underworld Goddess. This is specifically really good for the turn 3. If you go first, you banish your entire board with the Etoile. They typically will try to build a board. Let's say they exit on you, or they evenly you, or something like that. They're not able to kill you. Your whole board comes back. You now all of a sudden have 4 to 6 monsters, well, 4 to 5 monsters on your board, because you might have one that's stuck in the extra monster zone, but you just have like a ton of monsters to use to make the Underworld Goddess with whatever your opponent has. So this can be really good to out Chaos Angels, because Chaos Angel is a difficult card to out. Any sort of like towers guys, you can get your monsters to be pretty big, but if they're over like 4k, it's pretty difficult without this. So you kind of need it. And then I played the Surrender Button. Y'all know I hate this card. I summoned it one time and I lost that game. This card sucks. I hate Typhon. Card is garbage. Then off to the side deck, I played one of the Elegy, which is interesting because this card is basically Aria, but it says because the Aria protects you from battle and from being targeted by card effects, Elegy protects from destruction by card effects, which is relevant against exactly Mitsurugi. And I also played against a Fire King. This was very strong against Fire King as well. Any deck that has non-targeting destruction, you want to put in the Elegy, so I think it is important to side this card, especially because there's a lot of Mitsurugi going around. So Elegy was really, really, really good for this event. I summoned it a ton. And the best part about this too is that this is a level 4, this is a level 5. So with the Bloom Harmonist, you can summon both of these to the zones it points to, because it summons 2 with different levels to the zones it points to. So you can make a board of Bacha, Etoile, and then Bloom Harmonist these 2 and pass. And then you have like a bunch of materials to banish to bounce their stuff. You have the Shuberta, which is live, and your whole board is untargetable, can't be destroyed by battle, can't be destroyed by card effects. It's super powerful. Very, very strong stuff. And then I played another little engine for Melodious cards, and they're interesting. This is the Tam Tam with a polymerization. Shout out to Ryan for giving me the hero one. What this engine does, the Tam Tam has 2 effects. The first effect is if it's used for fusion material, it's gonna target a Melodious fusion monster you control, lower its attack by 500, burn your opponent for 5. Never use that effect. The other effect that does come up is if you special summon it while you control a Melodious, you can add polymerization. So sometimes they'll, especially with Dominus Impulse in the format going around, sometimes they will impulse your Concerto, the Melodious in-engine fusion spell, and there are times where you're able to summon out the Tam Tam, add the poly and keep going, or during my round 7, round 8, something like that, I hard opened the poly. So I got impulsed on this, and I was like, that is fine, activate poly, fuse with a Melodious on board, a Melodious in hand, make the Bacha full combo. So this engine is really cool, and anytime I feel like my hand traps don't do a lot into the deck my opponent is playing, I'll side in the Tam Tam with the poly just because it's more engine at that point. Like, there are times where you just like brick on no engine. It's okay to put in a little bit more engine. Poly is fine if you draw 2 names. It's the same thing as like old Prank Kid used to do with like normal summon Alistair to get invocation or something like that, but at least this is an engine. So I think it's pretty solid. Just in general, the searching the poly is very, very relevant. Next, we're playing, obviously, the hate for Malice. Lancia is in here. I'm also playing 2 of the Thrust to get me D-Barrier and Artifact Sanctum. Sanctum, obviously, to go into the Lancia going first against Malice. And then the D-Barrier is also really nice into Mitsurugi. And another little funny interaction that you have with this deck is that the Shapina that you play in the main deck is a soft once per turn to add back a light fairy from your grave. Lancia is a light fairy. So if you Lancia a Malice player, they are not allowed to banish for the remainder of the game, because every subsequent turn you're going to use the Shapina to add back the Lancia, use the Lancia again, Shapina, add back Lancia, and they can never banish. So it's really, really strong the moment you get access to it. So very, very powerful stuff in the side deck. Obviously, Silver Bullets, they're annoying, but you have to play them. And then other thrust targets, I'm playing the 1 Talents, the 1 Feather Duster, and I'm also playing the newly limited Crossout Designator just to stop certain hand traps. It's specifically there for Fool Loss. When I'm going first, I keep a Fool Loss in with the Crossout just because you really want to not get Fua'd. Perulia's fine. You can do full combo and only give them 1 draw. Meow, same thing. Full combo, only give them 1 draw. Maybe 2 if you're like doing the combo a little sloppily. But Fua is very strong, so you have to have this to beat the Fua. Also beats Ash on the Ostinato, stuff like that. Very, very good card in general, just going first. And then I also played 2 Dominus Purge. This is for specifically going in when the Perulias I don't feel are good in a matchup. So if I feel like these aren't good going second, I will cut these to play the 2 Dominus Purges to round out my side deck. And that's the entire list. That's it. This is how I got second place at the Toronto Regionals. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. All the good stuff. Boom, boom, boom. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Give the deck a try on Massul or the TCG, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!